This is from Swami Kriyananda's book, A Renunciate Order for the New Age. And he writes, in competition against others, in sports for instance, do your best to win, but tell yourself you are really competing against yourself to improve your own skill. Whether you win or lose, be gracious. I remember once when I was 16 that I was losing a tennis game against someone whom I considered an inferior player to myself. To teach him a lesson, I gave the ball a vicious uppercut with my racket, thereby demonstrating the worst possible form in that game. I hit myself on the nose with the racket, and in fact, I broke my nose. I remember lying there on the court, laughing heartily at the absurdity of my own action, which had so thoroughly disproved my high opinion of my ability. My laughter was for the beauty of this perfect lesson. So this is what we need to remember, that in the interactions of life, whether we're playing the game of life or whether we're playing sports or a board game or games at work that we have to play sometimes, all of these things should be done from a state of inner calmness and thinking, I am going through this, the motions of this, but I am unaffected in my inner self. I am trying to improve my skill. I'm not competing against others so much as competing against myself, trying to improve myself. So you can think of this in any kind of test that happens, a spelling bee, for example. All this tension of trying to win against other people. And a friend was telling me about the psychology that goes on in football. And it just had never occurred to me, showing my ignorance, I suppose. But there's all these psychologies that are at play in this game. In the game of life, realize that that happens and let it all go. Be centered in yourself. Don't let yourself get caught up in all the head games that can go on. And even in something like football, these players have to be very centered so that they don't get thrown off by the imposition of these head games that others are trying to put on them. Compete against yourself. Improve your own skill, especially the skill of standing firm amidst the crash of breaking worlds. No matter what is happening around you, you yourself can remain free. There's a beautiful image from the Indian philosophy that says that a saint is like a lotus flower that emerges from the mud at the bottom of the pond, but is untouched by that mud. It's pure and beautiful and not stained at all by that energy. And so that's what we need to awaken in ourselves, that inner poise, that inner graciousness that's not ruffled by all the activity around us, all the games that people play, whether it's tennis or football or whatever it is. Don't get caught up in it. Don't get sucked in. Be centered and feel. Feeling is a very important part of it. Feel that everything that comes is a delight because you're learning from it. Imagine a spelling bee and you have learned the words, you have worked, you have studied, you have excelled in creating your skill for being a good speller, and you go to the spelling bee, and if you let the energy and the excitement and the lights and the cameras and all of the judges and all of that work a number on your head, then you won't remember how to do this. But if you think, okay, this is fun, let me find my center, and then you can perform your actions, you can be part of the test with enjoyment because you're learning and you're seeing how you do under pressure. So take everything that life gives you in that way, accept it, enjoy it, and learn from it. Improving your skill, not competing with others, but learning and growing yourself.